to talk about the idea of equanimity, which I believe to be sort of another very, very important aspect, because awareness without equanimity is very, very uncomfortable. To become aware of things that, particularly things that are uncomfortable within us, things we don't like to see or feel, or doesn't feel right, or we pass judgment on it, or we, you know, just don't like it being there, or even the other side of that, which is we become aware of the bliss and the joy and the excitement and the love and the openness and the beautiful feelings which move through us, and they can be just as sticky as the uncomfortable things if you're caught up in that. The flip being when you're feeling all this joy and bliss, and then it changes and it's not so blissful, or it's average, or whatever. You kind of then feel like, oh no, I've done something wrong, or like something's missing. I was feeling all of this amazing feeling and now it's gone, so I'm going backwards, or the other way around, back into the sort of suffering aspect of it, or the uncomfortable aspect of it is, oh no, I don't want this, I don't want to feel like this, I'm gonna. And both are then bring you to a place where you may throw in the towel or stop dancing, stop your movement, which is why there is that guideline: stay in movement, no matter what you're feeling, no matter what you're experiencing, no matter what's coming up for you, whatever you're feeling and experiencing, stay in movement. It's such an important guideline, and it's the one that sort of points towards the cultivation of equanimity, because usually we stop moving when we are resisting, or when we are not liking what we're feeling, or it's not doing it for us, or whatever it may be, or your mind gets into some kind of thought or loop that stops the dance. And then that opportunity to go, wait a minute, let me feel back into myself, and where's the movement? It's to start moving again. So equanimity is something that really needs to be added to awareness. Awareness is incomplete without equanimity, in the sense that we're aware of these things, but we aren't able to free ourselves from reacting to them. And when we're in that state of reaction, we're not flowing naturally from our natural flow. We're in kind of more of a conditioned or robotic behavior of reactivity, which is hardwired into us from early on. So equanimity gives us the ability to be free, and this is why it's called dancing freedom. We're not dancing to get high. We're not dancing to get ecstatic and to reach the sort of highest planes of, human experience. And we're not dancing to get away from our shit and our dark stuff and our shadows, and the lows that come. Freedom really lies in the ability to hold both the light and the dark equally the same, without putting any weight, judgment, or suppressing, say, stuff, but to allow it all to simply be there, and to be okay with it being there, and to go, okay, yes, this too is here, and this is how it's moving. And that's freedom, being able to really hold it all, and that's ether. Holding it all. So equanimity, yeah, a really, really big one to practice. And the way to practice that is to really, as you move and as you feel, no matter what it is, to just be with it. To just simply, yes, yes, this too. And we come towards the end of our wave of ether. And I spoke quite a lot yesterday about very slow movements, very subtle, fine movements, which does sort of typify what usually happens in ether, but that's not to say you can't play with pace. Sometimes these fine, subtle movements can be very fast, can be quick, can be sort of piercing within the stillness. So don't limit yourself to having it having to be slow as you move today. You can move however you feel to move, because you're free to do that. And but we allow really that awareness and equanimity to sort of settle into our being. And being okay with stuff, and particularly with equanimity, is not say, I'm okay and I'm not going to do anything. It doesn't turn you into a sort of, I'll just take whatever comes. So if you want to dump shit on me, do it because it's okay for me. It's not a passive thing. It's an active uh, presence to what is. It's not a cop out. It's not a cop out to life and facing life's challenges. Um, my teacher in India was once asked why there's so many problems in the world, and initially he was just joking. He said, wherever you put a human being more than one, there'll be problems. But then he kind of like sort of thought about it a bit more seriously and went on to explain that the nature of the realm, this third dimensional reality that we exist in, that we live in, that this body inhabits, that our breath moves in and out of, is 50-50. It's a dual world. It's a world full of duality. For every bit of good, there is a bad. For every little bit of light, there is darkness. For every thing heavy, there is something light. Everything, all our feelings. For every happiness, there is a sadness. And for every feeling of anger, there's a calm. This 50-50 movement that's kind of like that yin yang. There's a dynamic play of these dualities which will exist inevitably forever, in a sense that this is the nature of this realm. As long as we reside here, which we do, and here's our body to prove it, we have to deal with the fact that things are 50-50, or that there's this change, there's this movement. And it's only because that there's this duality that there is any movement at all, because it creates the sort of like force, or the pull of gravity between the two extremes, creates the movement of the one into the other. And so many of us live our lives going, when it's okay, we don't do anything. We're like, oh no, my life's good. But like, it's usually when stuff comes up that we don't want, that we start to think that, something's wrong and I have to do something, and I have to like figure this out, and I have to like, I don't know, go on some kind of process, or like, learn something. That's like the biggest trap. I have to add something else to me because I'm not enough. I need more information. I can't deal with this. And then that's really the play of the mind. But if you can accept that there's nothing wrong, that it's human beings, we grieve, we feel pain, we feel sadness, we feel joy, we feel love, we feel it all, so we have this, and we are supposed to feel it all. We're supposed to feel the full spectrum of our possibility of experience as humans. And this is where the quality of equanimity as you deal with your life becomes so beautiful. Yeah, I'm going to go around in circles if I carry on speaking. So I'm stopping myself. Yeah, but my point being is that throughout this challenge, there's been a lot of really, really great and fantastic facilitation and teachers, and we all like to talk about, stuff, and provide a map and a framework in which to help sort of contain what you could or may be moving through. But I think I'd just like to leave off by saying you don't need to know any of it. You don't need to take any of it on. We all have our own personal paths and our own practices, and different things will resonate with different people. And we are free to also embrace whatever it is that we feel drawn to in terms of what we choose to do and practice. But the medicine here is the movement, is the dance. And all you need to do is dance. The rest will unfold within your own being. You'll just untie yourself through movement. And so keep dancing, and we'll check in again. Yeah, have a beautiful day. Bye.